You're doing phenomenal. Oh, we're live. Hello, everybody.
We are live. And then the chats just come in on the side?
That's right. And the comments.
All right, we ready for the jingle?
I was wondering if somebody was going to do it.
Wait, there's a jingle? I don't know what's going on now.
Chris's intro video, the hype one.
Wait, find it.
Hold on.
I think I get caught up in all the flashing, moving things. Like I'm kind of a visual idiot, so I don't even know if I hear what's happening in the background.
Where's Drew?
I'll grab the guitar, and Hannah, you can sing.
There you go. Dude, you play the guitar? That's cool.
They're just
look at those guitars on the wall.
Wall decorations.
I think that's a brilliant idea. A little CY. I mean, last week he had the fun video. This week he can start us with a little jam, and he can intro and exit us with outro us with a jam. And Carson, you need to be more tan, man. Who comes back from the islands still that white? Or is it just your lighting? What is happening?
Just the lighting.
His dad taught him really well to apply sunscreen.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
generation actually they care about their skin and they remember. They didn't go out and lather on oil to try to get really dark.
No, that'll be this summer.
And Joe, are you getting the sunburn from the reflection of the snow?
I am. Yep. Another. What do we get today? About 4 inches.
Yeah,
the plows didn't even come down the road.
Yeah, that's not even snow.
No.
Sorry to you Bills fans too this weekend.
Yeah, it was rough. I didn't even watch the game, but I kept Googling the score and being like, what is going on?
I hate to say it, but I was a little happy because it saved me a lot of money because now I don't have to go to the Super Bowl.
I was rooting for the Bills,
but I was
also kind of rooting against the Bills at the same time. So I don't know how I felt about that.
All right, y'all. Well, all right. So for the folks who are coming in and tuning in live, go ahead and put your comments or questions, I should say, in the comments because we'll go through those. We'll go through them live. We have no pre-submitted questions today, but let's start this broadcast off, our weekly Ask Me Anything, because we are here. We do come here live each and every week, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. And if you can't make it, go over to Chris Naugle's YouTube, Naugle, Naugle, and he posts up the recordings of all of these weekly Zooms as well. I guess it's not a Zoom, but you know. So, all right, let's talk about the big elephant in the room. What's going on with Mass Mutual, right? Folks are asking questions about Mass Mutual, and it's raising questions and it's raising eyebrows. So let's talk about it. And I can talk from, so I know a question was posted in the Facebook group, but I do have something internally that was sent out to all the Mass Mutual advisors as well. I didn't post this up because in big bold letters, for internal use only, not for use with the public, but we can talk about it. We can talk about the bullet points that they're talking about in here. All right. So I guess let's start here, okay? Because us over here as mentors on the Money Multiplier, we have kind of seen this come down the pipeline for some time, right? Where Mass Mutual, we know that they're not supportive of the concept because why? Well, they want to use the cash. They want to use the cash value from the policy to go out and invest into their portfolios, and they don't want the policy holders to go use the capital. And on top of that, there's a lot more reasons that we can dive into as well, and we will get into it. But another reason as well is that, you know, some of the folks out there teaching this infinite banking concept, in my opinion, sometimes they're not doing it for the best interest of the member. They just think that there's one silver bullet, one policy design out there. And if you don't do that design, then you're not doing anything correctly, right? And sometimes when you design policies like that, it leads or it gives you some folks whose mentality and thinking about the infinite banking concept more like a product and about rates of return, cash, versus your banking process and what you're doing with the financing, the control of the transaction, the asset protection, right? So I guess I can hop into it. Does anybody have comments before I hop into the memo here?
Yes. Yes, I do actually. And I love how you're opening this up. I would say immediately going back to just think about like when these kind of memos come out or we see these kind of things, we really have to ask ourselves, like, if you're following the money, like watch any murder mystery or go back to when I was in Wayback Machine in the early 90s and sitting in history class, looking through history lessons, being taught by a war hero and literally having him say, just remember who the message is coming from. Like when you're looking at the pictures, like whose point of view, why are they saying it? Why is that? And we've seen this, like Hannah mentioned, coming down the pipeline. Like, hey, we don't want people taking out loans for a year. Well, okay, that's not what we teach. We teach people to move their money, right? And so now it's like, oh, we don't want infinite banking at all. Well, why is that? Because their money's earmarked for something else. Just ask yourself those questions before you jump down the rabbit hole. Like, oh my God, the world's ending, everything's falling, right? It's just one company making that change, right? And so, Hannah, I just want to kind of give context so we rethink our thinking a little bit before we dive in deeper.
Yeah. And actually, so Brian, I see your comment here about how Chris posted that up, not our Chris, another Chris. I agree with you, Brian. You know why Chris can do that? Because Chris is not contracted with Mass Mutual and writes business directly with them. So that's why. But I get it. I'm glad that you watched that video. So, all right, let's talk about the bullet points here. And no, I'm going to save that for the last. Okay. So, summary. Mass Mutual does not support concepts that promote or position the purchase or sale of whole life insurance as personal banking. Similar concepts focus on maximizing policy cash values and immediate and regular access through policy loans. So let me read the highlights now. Using strategies that position whole life as a banking or similar concept is inconsistent with Mass Mutual policy because of these strategies. Some are misleading to customers. I agree with it. Some are misleading to customers and in violation of insurance laws and regulations as positioning the policy as a savings or retirement vehicle, something other than life insurance. Let's talk about that. What is a whole life insurance policy? A whole life insurance policy is a contract, right? I'm going to butcher this word. It's a unilateral, whatever contract between you and the insurance company, right? So in return, if you make these premiums into the policy, the insurance company is going to guarantee you that permanent death benefit at the time of your passing. That's all it is. It's as simple as that. So now where we go to it a step deeper is that these policies build up equity. Okay, so I'm going to be real with you. I actually don't understand this comment from Mass because Mass, when I'm filling out your applications and you're asking me, especially for my New York clients, the purpose of the coverage, one of the questions that one of the little bullet points that you give me is you give me income replacement, estate planning, guaranteed permanent death benefit. So I don't understand what you mean by you're telling me I can't use this as a savings retirement vehicle. I understand that's not the first number one goal, but people use whole life policies all day long for income replacement. That is a strategy that has been out there for a long, long time. So I think they're saying this because let's go back to the IRS tax law and let's talk about the MEC limit. The whole reason the MEC limit came out it was June or July of '88 is because a whole lot of wealthy and elite individuals were dumping in a boatload of money inside of whole life policy contracts. And they were doing so because they can get the tax-free growth, the asset protection, and the government's completely out of my hair. So they were using it as a savings vehicle. And the government didn't like that. So that's why they came out with these MEC laws. And so I think, because let's be honest, Mass Mutual is one of the bigger mutual companies that are out there in our country. And I think they have to say this so that they make sure that their consumers or policyholders are following the life insurance aspect of a whole life policy rather than just using it as a savings vehicle. And actually go back to my last podcast where I talk about is your death benefit really important? I know we don't talk about it a lot, but that is a big component when we're talking about the infinite banking concept and leaving the legacy and the literacy to the next generation.
Hannah, can I jump in here real quick? So Antonio just brought up, like, does that mean though that we cannot borrow money from the policy? And I have mass, I'm sure all of us have a mass policy, and I have a loan out right now. I just called them yesterday actually to set up an auto repay on the loan that I have. And even, isn't it correct though too, like even if people do buy the standard old whole life insurance, like they got it 10 years ago and they're sitting on it, then they start to hear about infant banking. There's even policies that aren't built for banking have cash value. And so and they can still somehow tap into that now. So I don't want anybody to be discouraged that anything's going to be wrong, like with what they have. Like I have mass too. So I don't know if you want to touch on that.
No, actually, okay, yeah, let's talk about that. So I hold Mass Mutual contracts. I'm able to borrow from my policies. I still use them day in and day out. They cannot deny you access to the cash inside of the policy. If you go back inside of your policy contract verbatim, you are the policy owner. You own that contract. The insurance company doesn't own the contract. You own it. They're just the administrator of the contract. So you, the policy holder, you have first rights to any cash or capital inside of there. They can never deny you access to a loan. Could they be irritating and wait 6 months to give it to you? Maybe, if they wanted to play that game, right? But they cannot ever deny you access to the cash inside of that policy. And I don't think they will play that game because, let's be real, you are their client. And so they want to make you happy because they want you to come back and keep buying more policies and keep doing more and more business with them, you know? So no, nothing is going to change with those enforced contracts. I'm just saying, moving forward in the future, will ever purchase Mass Mutual policies? Probably not. Same thing with Ohio National, right? Ohio National was a great company. They demutualized. And we knew that way before they were going to demutualize. And thus we stopped writing business with them way before they demutualized. But does that have any effect to what I'm actively doing inside of my enforced contracts? No, I still get my guaranteed interest. All right, I don't get a dividend, but I still get the guaranteed interest. And I'm still doing it for all of the control aspect and the protection from the vehicle, you know?
Who feels better after Hannah went through all that? I feel so much better. Like I just feel more centered, more whole, just more knowledgeable. And I'd say I'd point out that change is inevitable, right? And look at like when you're looking from the money multiplier aspect, like Hannah said, when Ohio National is going to demutualize, we stop writing business with them. Mm-hmm. When Mass Mutual said, hey, we don't want people taking out policy loans for a year, we said, all right, I don't think this partnership's going to work out. Right. And even though people hold contracts with them and those contracts are still super valuable, we moved on to people that were wanting to partner with us and practice what we practice. Mm-hmm. So things are always going to change. Absolutely. So let's kind of keep that in mind, too. It's always going to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Eve has a kind of a continuation. She says, do you expect Mass Mutual to raise the loan rate to discourage those of us that still have Mass Mutual policies?
I mean, they can. I feel like we are going to see interest rates increase, which we have seen here recently. So they can. I mean, interest rates from an insurance company are variable. If you go into inside of your contract, you can see it states in there anywhere from 0 to 8% is what they can charge you. But I mean, it's been 5% for the last 47 plus years with some of the carriers, you know? And so here just recently, they've been increasing it. And, I don't want to go down that discussion right now. We can come back to it though, but that's an interesting discussion. But I guess one thing I just really want folks to hone in on is that don't lose sight of your why, right? It's not the product itself. You're doing it for so many more reasons than just the product. I mean, personally, this is not going to hinder me from buying policies, you know?
No, you're doing the living benefits.
Yeah, and on that, Brian's asking, will the Mass Mutual memo change any other insurance company's stance on policies for IBC?
Okay. I was going to save that for the end, but let's talk about that. Y'all know I've had in-depth conversations with a few of our reps at carriers. I mean, these companies, all right, so next month, okay, next month is the annual Think Tank. Think Tank is an annual event that the Nelson Nash Institute puts on. 4 insurance companies are sponsoring the event, and they're having a company panel at the event. If insurance companies really did not support the infinite banking concept, why would they be there sponsoring the Nelson Nash Institute and helping to get out the public knowledge of what's going on in the insurance company world to their folks that are out in the field educating the public? So no, I mean there's I mean y'all know One America, Lafayette Life, Ameritas, Security Mutual Life of New York. They love infinite banking business because they understand how it's a win-win for the client and the company. Because let's be honest, when we take out policy loans, the company profits on us. We got to pay the policy loan interest, right? It's a win-win. And then okay, my mind just wants to keep going. I'll pause there. Okay.
Hannah, what kind of beer are you drinking? You are on a roll.
I don't know. I think I'm getting my aggression out. I'll be honest. This week kind of sucked. I don't know. This week's been kind of sucking. What about y'all? Y'all have a good week, kind of okay week, or what?
Yeah.
Busy. Yeah.
Busy.
Hopefully it'll be an over the hill kind of thing. It's hump day. Maybe the next 2 days will be better.
Sailings from here on out.
Wait, it's hump day. Wait,
Well, okay. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Hannah. Oh, you go ahead.
Here's one that I just find very, very interesting. And I guess I know the insurance company is not listening to this broadcast, but if they are, here's my PSA to this statement. So here's one more. They don't like banking because, quote unquote, promote large deposits and then early or immediate access through policy loans that are typical red flags for money laundering. I absolutely agree with you. If you're doing money laundering, I don't even want anything to do with you, man. I'm staying over here in my clean space of what I'm doing, right? But Mass Mutual, you have a product called the High Early Cash Value Whole Life Insurance Policy. Mass Mutual, it's like you're saying, it's like you're going out there and putting a sticky note on some chocolate cake in the fridge, and you're putting a sticky note on it that says, Hannah, don't eat it. What do you think I want to do now? I think I want to go in there and eat it. Why would you call a product a high early cash value if folks don't think they're going to go in there and take out policy loans? So I get it. I understand, because yes, it does raise flags with the money laundering. But y'all, if you ain't money laundering, keep good records and keep good notes. You don't have to be worried about it. Same thing with audits, right? Someday, maybe in the future, your business might get audited. You don't have to worry about it if you keep good paper trail and tracking of what you're doing, and you're a good, honest human being, right? So I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, look, Nagy's watching. Hello, Nagy, Snaggy. Yes, we're missing 2 people. That'd be a big panel day. Wow.
Yeah, Hannah, there's the other aspect that I think Mass was talking about on the language that's used in terms of investing and banking and all of those types of things that they get disgruntled about. And we shouldn't be using investment for life insurance anyway, but I think those are some of the things also that they have some challenges with and how people present that product.
Yeah. No, I agree. Actually, let me read this last one. This is my last highlighted one I want to touch on, because this goes right into it. Results in policy. Because of this way of promotion of the concept, how some folks are presenting the infinite banking concept, is that it results in policies having a higher lapse risk if customers do not fully understand the impacts of a policy loan, interest accrual, and the likelihood that repayments will be required, especially in rising interest rate environments. So I agree with that. So kind of to go back with the opening statement that I said, that I understand why Mass is basically Mass. We're in a dating relationship with Mass, and Mass Mutual is setting a boundary with us. Is basically what's going on. And basically, Mass Mutual is just saying, they're saying that, hey, we don't want this business because it brings in this certain clientele. I get it, because let's be honest, let's talk about 1090 policies. Most of 1090 policies are written with companies like Mass Mutual and sometimes Guardian, right? Well, because people are going there writing those policies because those companies are allowing them to do so. Well, when folks are out there promoting or talking or educating the public on the infinite banking concept, and they think there's only one silver bullet that's going to help everybody, and they just give everybody a 1090 policy design, you are the reason that we cannot go back to Mass Mutual and use their wonderful products, because those minds of those consumers are not geared with the longevity of what the banking process really is. I get it. I understand where maybe a 1090 policy design would help somebody who is in a financial hamster wheel, just trying to get out of the bonds of that financial bonds that they're in right now, lack of better words. But you're not educating your clientele correctly on how banking should really happen. So to go back to another podcast I talk about, where my least favorite questions is when somebody comes up and asks me, when do I stop making my premium? If you get this concept, you know you would never ask me that question, because you know you're going to want to keep making your premium forever and ever and ever. And when you get folks who come in here with those short-term mentality, what I like to call the drive-through or microwave mentality, they are the ones who don't pay back policy loans, lapse their policies, don't pay their premiums forever and ever. Did y'all know that it takes 7 years for an insurance company to actually break even on an insurance contract? 7 years. So they're not in this for the short term. They want to bet in with this with you.
Wait, so when Nelson says think long term as being the first principle with IBC, that's because he also understood his partner in the insurance company that he's creating these banks with. That was incredible. Like, that was, I think, when you said, hey, is anybody else having a crazy week? I think that is the one thing that put up our own boundaries, right? When people are coming in with an investor mindset, talking about the figures, the dollars, the returns, all of these things. Like, I've sent multiple emails out like, hey man, you don't get this. Like, you need more education. Go read this, go watch this, and come back when you're ready, because I'm not here to help you say, is this the best investment? You're missing it. This is a foundational element. This is a foundation with a guaranteed, because everything you investment equals risk, right? And when you create those 1090 policies, they don't look like life insurance. That's why Nelson Nash never supported them. IBC doesn't support them. And when people are coming with that mentality, of course they're failing, because they're missing the big picture. They're literally looking at it as another investment. Oh, that's not working. I'm just not going to pay it back. I'm just going to roll with it. And that's maybe how we got here, right? I don't know if that's all the facts, but that seems like a pretty good summation. Like, I wasn't even thinking that when we started this. So that's incredible, Hannah, how you got us here.
Yeah. No, well, thank you. No, good. I guess I don't want this to because I know it's out there and people are asking about it, and it's been a question that's been popping up in the Facebook group. But just like how Jason said, time, like, things change, things are always going to change, right? But I personally, I mean, the infinite banking concept has been around for such a long time. And I mean, that's just the name of it. I mean, take away the name of the infinite banking concept. What are we doing? We're using a specifically engineered whole life policy that's been around longer than our tax code. We've been here working with these mutual companies that have been around since the late 1800s, early 1900s. And I'm just safely diversifying and warehousing my capital with them. I could keep it in somebody else's bank, in my bank, or I could keep it, I could leave it underneath my mattress or dig a hole in my backyard and leave it, right? It's just nothing more than just where I'm saving it.
You can put it in a suitcase. I talked to one gentleman whose parents kept $125,000 in a suitcase in the Orange County area. I thought that was interesting. I was like, okay, maybe you should go put that in a bank, and then we can talk about how you can protect that money from liability, right? So just for some fun energy that you can put as
you wrote that address down, didn't you?
No, it was in a place
Road
that
trip.
I've heard is not, maybe the most desirable area to go. So I was thinking maybe I would not visit. So
Yes.
Okay, we'll switch gears a little to Lynn's question. She said her daughter is having budget
I
issues.
saw this one.
She wanted to cancel her policy. I told her if she needed, she could talk to her person, I'm assuming mapping person, and pay a lower amount for a while. Is what I told her correct?
Yes. And here we'll go a step deeper. So you want to, if you're paying at least the base premium plus the additional, if it's a monthly thing, $10 a month, or if it's a yearly thing, $120, to keep the paid up additions attached. So they have the option to put that cash value back in. And if she's really not seeing the value in this, then have her go ahead and sell that policy to someone and transfer ownership. I mean, this is a super valuable asset that she has. So there's multiple avenues she could do with that one policy. So.
To
Me too, Larry.
to Brian's return question is, why should I buy whole life if I can't use the cash value? What is their sales pitch without, having a liquid vehicle? I kind of bet that in a couple of years, Mass will change their tune, because let's see them just have whole life insurance salesmen and then experience a couple of years of just selling that product and how they might feel about that. I don't know.
Well, and it just go back to the same basic ways of what life insurance is. Life insurance is a guaranteed permanent death benefit product. And so I think I do know a lot of insurance agents that have been successful in selling 100% base premium whole life policy contracts. It's just it's a different ideology. Actually, let me tell y'all something. This past weekend, I have a best girlfriend. She lives down here in Orlando with me. She works up at a home office of one of the big insurance companies, one that we do not do business with, but she's on the financial advisory side. And we go in and out about IBC versus what she's doing over there. And I'm coming to terms that it's okay to have different ideologies of how you practice and view your money. I strongly feel that every dollar that I have come through my hands should get funneled through my banking system first. That's just my personal opinion. But does everybody agree with that? No. I mean, if you go ask Chris Noggle if he truly believes if all income should equal your premium, he doesn't believe in that. I personally believe in that. I think all income should equal premium. But it's okay to have those different mindsets and views,
And you have a philosophy, which I love, right? For you coming here with all the information, you have a philosophy and you're sticking to it. Like you said, there's no reason to not understand where someone else is coming from. It just means that we're not the right fit for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We're a fit for people who want freedom, who want control. If you don't want those things, we're definitely not the fit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I keep thinking through all the different ways. Like I was talking to someone earlier today and they're like, well, yeah, I'm, putting in my, what's it called when you're putting your money into your 401ks? They say it's not, I have the word postponed in my head, but they call it something else that
Deferred.
really doesn't make it deferred, which sounds so much friendlier than postponed. Right. And so and he's telling me, well, I'm putting it here and I put it in my HSA and there. I'm like, what if there was a vehicle? What if there was a vehicle where you can put all of those monies and use it for whatever you want? Like I have we did Florida prepaid for both my sons and I didn't know about this at that time. Right. And so now my oldest never went to college or hasn't yet. And so now the options are take the money out with a penalty or transfer it to the other son.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we're thinking about taking out with a penalty to get him some coaching. Right. Because that'd be a great investment, better than college, most likely for him. Mm-hmm. Right. But at the same time, imagine if that was growing uninterrupted, compounding forever, and we could use it for anything. Just what if there was a thing like that? That'd be weird.
I feel like we're paying Larry to throw these comments in. But he just 50,000. Took out 58.
Larry's on point, man.
I know.
Larry's on point.
More. I'll put him up on the screen. Just kidding.
So Hannah, actually, I think Shauna already answered this question from Tiffany, but Tiffany said we've talked about the 23 events for 2023 for Money Multiplier. She's asking if we had a list of cities or know our first event yet. So Shauna did post a link for the first two, and then up in the chat. But I believe, Hannah, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that the Money Multiplier team on the moneymultiplier.com/events, the event calendar, they'll be posting those up as they go. So if you go to the Money Multiplier website, which I believe will be changing in the next few weeks, but if you go to that calendar, it should be updated with the most recent and most upcoming events as the details get posted and solidified. So you can always check there for anybody who's wanting. And some of those will also be Money Multiplier and Private Money Club specific. Both of them. We'll be talking about both. So not all, but some, and we'll list which ones inside the information on the events calendar.
I'm gonna ask Jamie for like the whole list, and then we'll make like those, those like Facebook event things that you can like RSVP to. So with like the hotel location and the city and state, and so we'll end up getting those up on Facebook too.
Yeah. So we'll let you know when they're released. If you're on here, we'll kind of keep reminding you guys. I think next would be Mike.
Well, actually, real quick, let's shout it out. Which we will talk about, Gabby, here soon on the 2nd, I think, but we'll get into that. Is so like the upcoming events, March, we have Tampa and Dallas. All right, we put those in the comments. April, Phoenix, Arizona, Charleston, South Carolina, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then in May, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and then Nashville, Tennessee. And so, yeah, if you go to the moneymultiplier.com/events with an S on the end, it'll take you right there. Or if you email Maddie, MADY at themoneymultiplier.com, and she'll get you information.
Yeah, and I believe they're all free, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So there's no ticket price. They're all free. They're going to be all over. So there might be one that's coming closer to you. Then maybe, if you see one that's in Dallas and you're up in, New York, there is one that will be in Buffalo later on. So just keep posted.
Hopefully
for
much
the
later on.
locations.
It's cold.
And also, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, bring a friend too. So that way you can introduce us crazy people to your family and your friends.
Yeah.
And with that, I mean, just think about that for a second. It's like a brilliant comment. It's kind of obvious. But think about what you're bringing your friend to, and then who you're seeing as. Like what that means for you if you're trying to build a relationship with someone, you want to partner with someone, you want to show someone something that is unique and super valuable. If you bring that person you want to partner with and they're around people that are delivering this information and around this ecosystem, what does that mean? What does it say about you and where your mind is and what that could possibly do for a future partnership?
Mm-hmm. So Jason is saying, go to Tinder, swipe right, and then bring your date down to the event.
I've never used a dating app, but that is awesome. So
just kidding.
I was married by the time those things came out. So
okay, Mike's asking, what does face amount mean in a whole life policy?
Anyone good?
Carson's got this one.
Carson.
I'll take it. Anna, you've been crushing it. I love listening to you talking about all this stuff. It's been great.
So passionate.
Literally some notes too. Yeah. No, face value is equivalent to the death benefit. Just like Hannah was talking about, regular permanent whole life insurance, pay a premium to get a permanent coverage for your legacy, you, your family, whoever your beneficiary is. And that's your face value. It's just the death benefit on the policy. It's pretty simple.
And the fun question we get, one of the best, but well, what's this going to be? What will my death benefit be? And I say, I have no blooming idea.
Yeah.
I have not a clue. There's so many variables and we don't focus on that. I mean, it is the cherry on top, as we always say, the second guarantee, but we have no idea until we start making your specifically designed for you based on our conversation, what problem we're solving. We don't know.
That actually brings a really good point, Jason, too, is when you do get on the phone calls with our money mentors and you do travel down the road of becoming, your own bank, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but we're just trying to see what you qualify for, right? We're like, so that's no pressure. There's no signing on the dotted line until you're actually through. So we definitely encourage you to don't sell yourself short before you get there. We definitely encourage you to figure it out.
And Mike just questioned again. He said, my death benefit is much more than my face amount. The death benefit is the face amount. So maybe you're thinking of the cash value or the premium, but the death benefit is the same.
It's because Mike, you got a Lafayette Life policy and they go weird with it. Up at the top, you'll see it says initial face amount. That's your base face amount. AKA, so face amount is just a fancy word for death benefit. Yeah.
But
face amount is a fancy word for death benefit. So probably up there, you're looking at the base amount of insurance, what's coming from the base premium, but you got to add in all of the total calculations. You'll be able to see it on your site as well. If you go, I know you know how to log into your online portal. Go into your online portal and you'll see it right there on the front screen. I know that I just logged into my policy.
I'm looking at mine right now.
Base
Mass Mutual lists the face, not the total.
Base would be the face, but if there's term insurance associated with it too, that would give you extra death benefit.
That makes
sense to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a lot of people are like, that's so much lower than I thought it would be. It's like, don't worry, that might not be all.
That's actually what your base is going to purchase the insurance. But then when you add in all the components together, like the term and the base together, well, now you have the death benefit, which would be more than just the face.
Yep.
If there's anything added to it.
Can I share my screen?
I don't know how, but I would say yes. I think you hit the button present.
Oh, can y'all see my screen?
Oh,
nope.
No,
No.
not
Oh, now we
yet.
can.
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah.
It takes a minute.
All right. This is one of my policies. So look, it says face amount. So I'll go in here and do some more investigation. But I'm assuming this is right here. It's my base premium face amount, and then I got to add in my other face amounts. What's coming from my term rider, and then also my paid up edition riders. How much insurance is coming from those?
yeah.
And look at the total death benefit. Scroll
benefit.
down.
That's cool.
Hannah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Sweet. There you go.
Gotta add it all together.
See,
Good question, though. We get that one a
Ask
lot.
us and you shall get it. Oh, look at that. That was cool. Did anybody else's screen go?
Yeah.
I missed it.
It's like the
this tech
mirrors,
stuff.
a bunch of different mirrors.
Matt is saying someone shared an article that Stephen Nagy posted about the debt ceiling. I wondered if anyone knew what it meant when they say suspend the reinvestment of a government securities fund of the Federal Employees Retirement System Thrift Savings Plan. Woo, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, I tried working through that sentence. I don't have a clue. Craig looks like he might have something to say.
I read the article and I also looked into it because I saw the question from Matthew on the Facebook group, but I don't have an answer to it. But they were talking about the TSP as well as the civil servants and other retirement funds. So I'm not sure what the impacts to those are, but it doesn't sound. In one place of the article, they said that there's no impact to the individuals. But then, I'm looking at this thing going, what's going on with this? I would imagine there would be an impact to the individuals. So
yeah, save that question for next week when Steven's back.
Yeah, maybe that's next week's what the F content.
Yeah.
And perhaps Chris or Steven know the answer to that one, and would be interesting to know because what happens to all those people with the TSP plan.
Drew seemed to weigh in a little bit that it basically means they will no longer match the funds going into TSPs for a period of time.
Maybe Larry will have an idea too. Larry, if you're still on.
Larry,
and to Drew's point, whenever they withhold something like that, they always try to catch up in the future. So maybe that's why they're saying there's no impact to the end users, but immediately they won't get that match, but eventually they'll restore it. So.
Oh, actually, Larry said, I don't know if this is what he was referring to, but he said, I wrote about it in my book.
Oh, and no, he's wrote. I didn't read that article. The article we're talking about now. He was talking about.
Oh, okay. That must have been
he was talking, I think, about how he got, was it 58 for the 50 he put in? So
yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a couple people. Mike and Antonio talked about the face versus the death, the total death benefit. So I think we hit that already. Darren, I'm 58 years old and was just turned down for a whole life insurance policy. Let's talk about that a little bit, Hannah, on the the application and underwriting side.
Okay. What? Well, I mean, there's got to be a reason why he was turned down. Do we know the reason? Or, well, I guess we don't have to.
Mm-mm.
We don't got to air out his dirty laundry like that. No,
He wasn't ready for this.
I was thinking about solutions. Like, is there another insurable body that, you know, he has where he could create a policy and own the policy on that individual? Right. So there still is other ways. Hannah can talk more about that. She's got something to say. I can see it.
Well, and too, what I would do as well is that, I mean, so this is what I tell my folks to do. Send me a picture of the denial letter that you got, because the insurance company, they have an obligation to tell you exactly their specifics of, hey, why they wouldn't consider you based on their company guidelines. So take that in. And then, because my first personal preference was insure you first. I mean, I always try to get policies on me first, maximize my death benefit on me, and then I'll outsource to other people. So then you can kind of go in and send in preliminary emails to other companies and kind of see if they will consider you. But worst case scenario, you can't insure another body, children, business partners, spouses.
Mm-hmm. And it may be that it's just a postponement as well. I know I just spoke with one of my clients who was turned down because of lab results. Then, you know, she actually knew what it was. She had been taking, you know, this supplement that messed with her cholesterol levels. So she actually took herself off of that, retested, and she still got denied because she didn't go through her doctor. So she actually set an appointment with her doctor, and, you know, then she's fully expecting, because she did her labs and they came back great, but the insurance company wouldn't accept her until an actual doctor looked them over and approved. So, once she does that, then she might be eligible to move forward. So it may not necessarily always be a no. You could always, you know, depending on what the issue was, you might be able to retest in a certain period of time. Sometimes they'll say, okay, 3 years, or just whenever your doctor is, you know, gives you the okay, or whatever. It's different for every person, but definitely take a look at what the possibilities are for you in the future. You might be able to still have it. And if not, I know Larry on here, he was just saying he has an entire website where he buys whole life policies. So there's, you know, there's the ability to buy policies from other people that are currently in standing who may not want them.
That's smart, Larry. I like that. That's some smart thinking right there.
And
I would say
where is it?
Something that's come up a lot this week for me. It's been really a unique kind of thing, and it really brings back the focus of the macro of why people they're coming here in the first place, why they want to control their banking concept when they're getting rated in a way where they're not excited, right? Where they have a table rating or some other substandard rating from the insurance company. And one of the things I keep reminding them, well, look at the blessing. You wanted to put this much in. You wanted to have a bank that would hold $100,000 in funds, and you do. You were approved. And you can always go back in the future. And if your health improves, retest that. Like, things will always change. But remember why you're doing it in the first place, right? Because I'm seeing a ton of those conversations in the last week or so, and just helping people kind of navigate a little bit of well, I thought it might be this, but it's like, hey, like, that should almost make you feel better, because these companies aren't willy-nilly, right? They're not just giving this stuff away for free. Not everyone gets the good stuff, people. So, like, when you get a contract, like, be grateful. And if it makes sense and it is a banking policy, then move forward, and you can always adjust in the future, versus saying, oh, well, I'm just going to wait or not do anything. Well, then you're just right where you were when we started.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. Always bring it back to the basics. I
love
Jason's take on all this stuff.
My favorite quote is Einstein's quote of, you know, keep it as simple as possible, but not any simpler. Like, every day I think about how can we boil this down more and more to make it simpler? Because I talk way too much. I'm like, I could probably say the same thing with like 3 words versus like 300, right?
I don't know about anybody else, but I can't wait till Jason starts speaking on stages.
Yeah.
I think that'll be
Did
so
you
interesting.
know Albert Einstein, I think he also said this. I heard this from another person, a mentor on our team. He lives down in Hawaii, Jay Andros. He says simplicity is the highest form of intelligence, or something like that. And I thought that was pretty good.
I love that. Yeah. That's taking Einstein's quote to a different place. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's part of it is setting your ego aside. A lot of people feel like they need to use a lot of difficult words and terms. And it's like, no, this is as simple as it gets. And I don't need to put in all that stuff. Even though I know it, I don't need it, because then I don't reach as many people and I can help more people.
No, and you're more congruent with how you deliver. And I mean, this is not to take it all in this direction, but just think about that for a moment. Like when someone's saying stuff and you're like bamboozled by the talk and how good it feels. And at the end of the day, you're like, I have no effing clue what they said. That makes no sense. I don't know what they said. I don't know.
They sound like they know what they're talking about. But
yeah, they sound like they know what they're talking about. And I feel like that sometimes when I'm learning from people here, right? But I'm just like, wow, I'm back in pre-K.
I hear that all the time about Chris. Is it, you know,
yes,
there's a lot of people who are like, I've heard of this for many years, but Chris is the first time it's made sense because Chris just boils it down.
Boils it down, makes it simple, makes it understandable, makes it palatable. Like, like what if this was a children's book? Like you could teach this. I'm teaching this to first graders, right? First to fifth graders. And I bet you they're more financially versed than 95% of America, right? By just learning the simple concept of what we do. And all we're doing is building a foundation and changing one thing, like where your money goes first. That's it. And we keep making it more and more complicated.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me, speaking of children, Chris sent me a note. He's at an event and, you know, getting a lot of, you know, work in there, but it's making him really think about how he wants to deliver his messages. And he's talking about, you know, children, how they think that nothing's impossible. So it's just kind of a lesson to remind, like, your child thinks they can literally do anything. And where do we lose that along the way? It's really cool to just be able to think. As a child, we all think, well, I'm way above that, you know, but at its basic form, they think that anything is possible, and we still need to believe that.
And it
reminds me of Joseph. You've got your daughter did a video on this, right?
Yep.
So
12?
we've got a 12-year-old doing a IBC video.
10. She did it 2 years ago.
She's 10.
There you go.
10.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Where'd it go? Jeremy's asking, is there a maximum number of policies you can have?
Not how many you can own. No maximum.
No, it's going to
elaborate on the.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody click on the Chris Noggle comment. That's not Chris.
And it's from Facebook, which is really weird.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Don't click on that.
No,
don't buy into it. Don't send anything to that address.
No, they're all over Mr. Burrs too. I see that all the time. I'll go on there. Wow, he's got 70 comments, and it starts with that chain. So don't click on those ever. They're the bad news.
That's not Chris. He would never ask for that.
No, bad news. But back to the question. So Hannah, do you want to take how many policies like are possible for someone as they're creating?
So yeah, no, you can have as many policies. You can own as many policies as you like. Yes, everybody does have a maximum insurability on their body. And that maximum insurability, it's just like how you can't overinsure a car or a house. You can't overinsure a body, right? So there's going to come a point in time where maybe you come back to the insurance company, you have $15 million of death benefit on your body, and you're wanting to go get more. And the insurance company is saying, Hannah, I just don't think your body is worth 15 million plus in death benefit. So then at that time, that's when you would have to go out and outsource other bodies to put the policy on. But hopefully that's not a concern, because as time goes on, we're buying more assets, creating more net worth that will be able to qualify for more and more policies.
Yes, I would say it's a matter when you get to that point and you have to look at other people, you should also ask yourself, am I limiting myself on my resourcefulness?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, is there a way to be more resourceful? Like, what else don't I know? And how can I grow more? Because when you add more value, you get more value, and then you can grow more and have more policies.
The more you make, the more you get.
David and Dorothy said, how can we see that video of Joseph's daughter? It's actually, if you go to the moneymultiplier.com/videos, you can also click the resources tab and go to the video series button there. If you scroll down all the way to the bottom, it's in the second to last row in the middle. It says Infinite Banking explained by a 10-year-old Ariana Kovacevic. So it's right there. You can click that video. Sorry, I don't have copy paste abilities, but I think that's pretty simple. themoneymultiplier.com/videos all the way to the bottom second row. From
I'm watching that today, and I'm having Connor watch it with me. That's awesome.
Bruce says, hi, I'm an active real estate investor. If I do a $100,000 dump in, would I be able to access that amount soon thereafter, like within a few months?
Yes, within 30 days, you should have a $100,000 dump in. You should have access to 80, 85, 90% of it. I mean, somewhere in that range, right?
What would Mass Mutual have to say about that?
Mass Mutual would say, "Hey, we don't want the business. We'll go elsewhere. Go down to the chiropractor down the street."
My name's
have
Hannah.
serious FOMO in a few years.
Yep.
Mario says, can he pay for his insurance from his business, and can that be a write-off for his business?
Joe, do you want to take this one?
You can run it through COLI, it's company-owned life insurance. But you should probably put it in your name first and then transfer it over. Less hoops that you have to jump through. Correct, Hannah?
Mm-hmm. For underwriting.
Yeah, except also I think if the business buys it, it's a deduction to them, but taxable perhaps to the individual. So there may be some taxable consequences there.
Yeah.
Business is different than the trust. So it's kind of depending on the business, how it's set up, if it's an S corp or a corporation, and if it's a key person or how many people are involved, and there's a little bit more to it.
Joe's saying there's a lot of variables, folks. So you have to bring that specific case and the variables, and then we can go through them. It's like diagnosing anything. Like you go to the doctor, they're trying to figure out why you're sick. They have no idea. They've seen something that looks like it, but they're going to keep diagnosing it till they get to the answer that you want that's specific to you. That's what Joe's saying.
Yeah, and alternatively, they could have the policy on themselves personally and then make loans to the business and kind of route it that way as well. So there's some different options.
Larry chimed in too. He said the tax write-off is complicated, not a smart idea. It could make the death benefit taxable.
Yeah.
Some people do it, but you weigh the pros and cons and make the decision for yourself.
And I'm not an accountant, so you go talk to your CPA.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but I think 90 to 100% of Chris's policies are all personally owned. I don't think he has any business owned policies, does he, Shauna? Do you know?
You're muted, Shauna.
I don't think he does, but I think he's starting to move them into his trusts.
There's a little more protections with it.
Yeah.
That was last week's conversation.
Yeah, it's like a catcher's mitt.
I have no idea. I
don't have a business owned policy either. So
Mario chimed in talking about the S corp. Mario, I do agree with you. There's some ways that an S corp can have some tax deductions because they are an S corp. But go talk to your tax professional.
Okay, we'll answer a couple last ones before we're at time. Min says, can a husband and wife own a policy together? Too many people do it, I guess. Is it wise?
Co-owners. But I'll be honest with you, sometimes it can get a little annoying because each time you call them up, both owners have to sign off on it and agree to all changes, transactions, etc. So there's ways.
Yeah, I just learned something new. I always tell people one or the other. We can look at total household income and see if that's approved, if that helps, and that money can fund there.
But it can only be one insured body, not two.
Yes.
One body, two owners. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can't do half a top of Joe and bottom of like Janet or something. No.
Larry's right. There is a last to die policy. But I don't know
the
if
joint
that applies.
Survivorship. Yeah, but yes, you can. But there's some different characteristics about it that doesn't really play into it. Larry will talk. Larry booted me. I was supposed to be Larry in March, but he booted me out until May. So, Larry, catch you after quarter one then.
Let's see. How many times can you pull from your cash value per year? From Stella.
As long as you have cash value.
Infinite.
Mario, is there? Oh, you already read that one. Okay.
Thank you for so many questions today.
Yeah,
I think Lynn has a follow up to the husband wife thing. Is just even just married and one insured and one owner. Do I still have to get the husband's signature when I request a loan? And I would say no, right? It's just one owner.
If she's the owner, then no, it's her contract, right, with the insurance company. Joe's looking perplexed. Joe, are you thinking something different?
Yeah, it's not called two owners. It's called an owner, and the other person is able to do something with it, but it's not two owners. I was trying to think of the word that's called, and I can't come up with it.
Like authorized user or something.
That's it.
She says, like, she says One America always makes her. So I wonder if it's set up interesting. Maybe he's set up as an authorized user or something.
Maybe.
Last question.
It's because it's probably because of the state that you live in. Sometimes you got to those common law states. Texas, I know, is one of them. And
yep, that's true. That's true. Common law.
I could be totally wrong.
Nope, you are correct. You are correct because you can't take out a loan without both of them knowing about it if you're married.
Yeah.
Good one.
And this is why you don't get married, kids. I'm just kidding. I'm pushing buttons today.
He's in California.
You're on fire.
And fuego.
Jason says, last one, he says, how can I get started selling IBC? I am licensed in Florida and North Carolina. I believe that's a Stephen question because he's working on building something out that would be interesting to you. So next time he's on, ask him about it.
Yes, bring that back, Jason. There is amazing things coming down the pipeline. Training, opportunities, learning, all of it. It's coming. So
coming soon.
Go, Jason. I'm just saying, go check out the not you, Jason.
I keep think you're talking to me. It's super weird.
I know. I saw your face perk up. Like,
I had a question. Comments. I would go to the Nelson Nash Institute. I mean, just go out there if that is something that you want to go do as well. I mean, all power to you. Go out there and go through the courses and become an IBC practitioner. I mean, we have it over here, and I think that's the best way to learn as well.
Last thing to note, sorry. Freddie says he's with Lafayette. His wife has to sign off every time. But Brian with Lafayette, he's also in California, only had to do it once, and over the phone is okay.
Okay.
So that's interesting. Might be different things.
Learn something every day. I love this stuff. So cool. Stay curious, people. Stay curious. If you're not curious, if you're not flexible, if your life is like glass, it will shatter. Change will not be your friend. And stay like putty, man. Stay like putty. Stay curious. How's that? Good way to wrap it up.
Ending. Great ender.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
All right.
Where's our jam, Craig? Let's go. Close this out with a little lick.
You're gonna take us home.
Gonna take you home. Yeah, my fingers are too cold to play the strings today. Sorry, folks.
I don't know how to add any tunes, so we'll just hold the.
Yeah, I'll hold the guitar up. You play the
week,
music. There you go.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.